The size compared to
They were oval, kind of like that.
oval.
Yes.
I see. And could you see anything else on the face?
No, I couldn't. All as I could see was his hair, and when he turned around, and then he...
Were you
just
afraid?
Yes, I was.
What did you think it was?
Well, everybody was saying that there were UFOs and everything, so...
Well, other people said they were UFOs.
Yeah, people were coming around telling... we were in the classroom and I ran out, and I saw it. I did think they were UFOs. I did see them.
Were you perhaps influenced by what the other children had said?
Sort of, but I did definitely see
what you saw.
What I saw.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of, she admits a little bit of influence saying that the other kids are saying UFOs, but she sticks by it saying, no, I know what I saw.
Yeah, and she owns up to it at least, kind of like, well, yeah, sort of, but it did make sense to me. Like, so well-spoken, so concise. She's able to differentiate and actually process it. Most kids that age are just like, yeah, no, and wouldn't even say like, oh, well, because they said so, I thought that too. But she actually said it and was like, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
That was a really straightforward answer and like kind of a very mature answer for such a little kid, which is really impressive there.
Yeah, what age are these kids again, Russ?
These are all like middle schoolers. Most of them look to be between, I'd say, as they would put it, maybe third year to sixth year. They're definitely prepubescent for the most part. So I'm going to say the age is topping out at like 6th or 7th grade, probably.
Wow.
Yeah,
well,
and I wonder what kind of I wonder what kind of media that they are exposed to too. I mean, they don't really get into that, but this is 1994. I doubt they're watching.
No internet yet. Yeah.
Before Independence Day.
Yeah, I mean, after Close Encounters, but like I said, what media are they see? Like, what could have influenced this, if anything?
Yeah, definitely not any dreadlock aliens, like in any kind of media, even if they were here in America.
Yeah, what they described doesn't really sound like anything that I've ever heard of, and it just seems like they all had this experience to the point where their stories all sound similar. They all sound similarly freaked out by it, and none of them ever crack a smile when they talk about it, which is like that's kids' smile. Kids are like, if kids are lying and stuff, you can kind of tell if a kid's lying.
Oh
most
yeah,
of the time.
they'll even be giggling. Yeah,
I giggle.
I giggle when I'm telling the truth, and I'm an adult.
Right.
But they're very straight-faced.
I would probably sound a lot more scared than them giving this account too, but they are pretty strong. Who said now? This, the young girl did do I'd say a better job conveying just what she said other than the boys. But here's another girl giving her account with more talk about the UFO.
What is your name?
Charity Shanda.
What did you see?
I saw something silver on the ground amongst the trees and a person in black. And that's all I saw.
You saw a person alongside the silver thing?
Yes.
What did the silver thing look like?
It looked like a saucer, but the shape wasn't really round.
Have you heard about UFOs before this?
No.
You didn't know anything about it, so it was something quite new to you?
Yes.
Were you afraid?
Yes.
What did you do? Did you run to fetch the teachers, or you just stayed with the other children?
I stayed with the other children.
So this girl has never even heard of UFOs and admits it. And she's having the same experience. She's seeing, what you can only describe as that.
Yeah, and like some people might say on the surface, just looking at it, well, these kids could have all come together and agreed on a story, except that they all have a slightly different perspective on it, but still the same things in common. Like nothing detracts from what another one is saying. But usually when kids are if you're gonna go and try to, come up with the same story, they would be giving the exact same details. But they're not. They're giving the same information but slightly different, like their perspective on it.
Their perceptions of it are slightly different from
exactly. Yeah.
That's really what it seems like.
But they're all shared. Yeah.
The event is the same, but all of their perceptions of it are just a little bit different.
Yeah, and so this caught the attention of Harvard professor, psychiatrist, and Pulitzer Prize-winning author John Mack, and he visited the school and he spoke with the children.
In September 1994, over 60 children from this school in the suburbs of Ruwa, Zimbabwe, witnessed several objects landing and two beings coming out. Just over 2 months later, John and Dominique came to the scene to work with the children, their parents, and the teachers still suffering from shock. John, who essentially specialized in child psychiatry, devoted a great deal of time to interviewing the children.
Something scared you, is that right?
Yes.
What scared you?
The noise.
What noise?
The noise that we heard in the air.
You heard a noise in the air? What was it like? Like a roar or a buzz or a hum or what kind of a noise?
It was like someone was blowing a flute. It was scary myself.
It was scary because you saw something yourself?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I saw little objects hovering. It was quite big actually, and then there was little ones all around it. We saw something silver, and then we quickly ran to the logs, and we saw a silver thing, and we saw a man standing next to it.
What was it? What did it feel like when he was looking at you?
I felt scared.
It felt scary? What was scary about it?
Well, I felt scared because I've never seen such a person like that before.
Man, this guy has a great way with kids. No wonder he's a great child psychologist. Jeez.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that the John Mack?
Yeah, that's the John Mack. The
what?
Unbelievers and anyone in the alien field will probably heard of John Mack. He was a big proponent for abduction. He even went on Oprah Winfrey and did a whole episode with some alien abductees, where Oprah fucking is a real B to these abductees. we might have to break down that episode.
We're not lying. You are not lying on that one. She does go in on him for some reason.
She goes hard on John Mack, and rest in peace. John Mack passed away a few years ago. But yeah. So let's hear some more because he is really great with them. And man, that little girl, just her accent and speaks low, she was kind of creepy.
I thought she was well spoken and adorable.
Yeah, they were so cute. They sound like,
I guess that is kind of creepy.
Reminds me of Harry Potter a little bit, to be honest. The very first one.
She's so good at conveying it that you're like immediately convinced, like, oh my God, this happened. And I believe it did. But so here's some more of John Mack and the school kids.
Did you see the eyes? What did they look like?
They were going like that.
Where was the pointy part? Was the pointy part in here, or was the pointy part out there? Up there. And what was the feeling when you looked at the eyes?
It was scary.
Mm-hmm. And what was scary? Why? What made it scary?
The eyes looked evil.
Evil. Mm-hmm. And what was evil about them? Say what you mean by evil.
It looked evil because it was just staring at me.
With what? Staring at you as if what? As if to do what?
As if it wanted to come and take us.
As if it wanted to come and take you. That was the feeling you got? That it wanted you to go with it? Did you feel like you wanted to go with it? No. Did you feel, what was the effect on you when you felt it wanted to have you go with it?
Ugh. Something about that singing in the background makes it a little extra creepy.
Yeah, wait, why were they singing Little Drummer Boy?
Okay.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, it was definitely Little Drummer Boy.
So this happened on September 14th. This happened September 14th, 1994. This is 2 months after it. And they're rehearsing for like probably a Christmas thing. So this would be probably late November, December when John Mack is there.
And couldn't have picked a creepier Christmas song to be practicing in the background.
Hear what I hear, an alien.
It's flutes. I mean, to be fair, I get nervous every time I hear flutes too. It just puts me on edge. I'm like, I'm scared. Flutes are a terrifying instrument.
We've heard some from the kids, but let's hear from the teachers about their experience that day.
They came running up here in such a panic, and I mean, even if we had staged it, they could not have run all together like that. Even if we practiced it, I don't know how many times. But they came up here like a living snake, and they just came. We were in a staff meeting, and we just heard them screaming, ah, when they were here, you know, and a child can't make that up.
I was very skeptical in the beginning as well. I believed that they'd seen something, but I wasn't prepared to accept that it was anything supernatural or anything like that. But I think the consistency of what's been going on indicates that it was more than I was prepared to admit in the beginning.
So even the teachers, like they're there that day, and they describe it as a living snake of children. Ooh,
that's such a gross analogy.
Child snake.
Yeah, they say they don't think that the kids could pull this off. Like they're like, even if we practiced it over and over, we probably could. You hear us practicing that song. It's hard to get everyone to sing. Do we hear what I hear together? We couldn't get 60 kids from all different classes to all run in at the same time and have.
We've been trying to get them to run together for ages, and they won't do it. So now they can do it. We better be scared.
Yeah, really.
And they're like the best actors. They just happen to be the best actors. The best group of children actors from Zimbabwe that there ever has been, pretty much.
I'll say a lot of good things about the kids, but I don't think they're good actors at all. I mean, they get a little nervous when the camera's on them, but I mean, they relax more later when they talk to them. We're going to hear some more about John Mack being there. So John is meeting with the kids again, and they are making drawings for him and trying to illustrate their experience.
So both of them were running. One was running in the trees, and the other one was running across the ship. Because there were also trees here.
The eyes were like more pointed as they came in toward the center of the head, is that?
No, more circular. And this was all black in here.
All black. Now you've made pupils. Did they actually have pupils, or was it?
The pupils were white.
What?
The pupils were white like that.
So you saw white in the center?
Yes, like that.
Was he near the silver object, or was he far from it?
No, on top.
On top of the silver object. Okay. And did you look at him?
Yes.
Did he look at you?
Yes, and he gave me the creeps, and I took
Gave you the creeps. Actually, in your drawing, you showed him standing up, didn't you?
Yes, I had to draw him standing up because I couldn't draw him sitting.
Hey, the kid's honest. He's like, well, you said he was sitting down. Well, I can't draw him sitting down. Okay,
so adorable.
That's not within my range of capabilities,
That's so
John.
funny.
I almost want to hear one of them go off and be like, we're making a classic abduction documentary. You pipe down with the singing. Yeah, apologies for the singing coming in again, but...
Yeah,
hey,
they're like, you guys don't sound good enough to be the soundtrack for this yet. Get better and we'll talk.
Yeah, they're cheaping out. Harvard's not going to pone up for a soundtrack for this. Kids, get singing. So he's still with the kids, but a few of them seem to think that there was a reason for this visitation, and this is when it gets a little more interesting. Let's hear.
What I thought was maybe the world's going to end. Maybe they're telling us the world's going to end.
Jeez.
Well, why do you think they might want us to be scared?
Because because we don't look after the planet the area properly.
And Melanie, is this an idea that you have had before, that we don't look after the planet properly in the air, or did this idea come to you when you had this experience?
When I had this experience.
And how did that idea come to you from this experience? This is a little hard, but try to be with me here, okay? How did this idea come to you when you had this experience?
I just felt all horrible inside.
You felt horrible. At what point did you feel that? When you saw the craft, or when you got home at night? Or
when I got home.
You had that horrible feeling when you got home?
Yes.
And say more about that horrible feeling, Lisa. What was it like?
It was like in the world, all the trees would just go down and there would be no air and people would be dying.
And those thoughts came to you, had you had those thoughts before this experience?
No.
No. And how did those thoughts come to you? Did they come to you from the craft, or from...
From the man.
The man. And the man, did the man say those things to you? How did he get that across to you?
Well, he never said anything. It's just that the face is the eyes.
What was the sense you got from those eyes?
He was interested.
he was interested. Ugh.